This is the plaintiff, Robert. He says he breeds poison dart frogs, and the defendant agreed to buy them from him, and he foolishly gave them to him before collecting payment. He has since blocked his calls, deleted him from social media, and the defendant thinks he can run, but he can't hide. He's here suing for the $800 he's owed. This is the defendant, James. He says the plaintiff told him he was moving to California and he didn't know what he was going to do with his frog collection. The plaintiff asked him to take them from him even though he told him he didn't have any money. The plaintiff said, "Don't worry about it," then started harassing him so badly he had to call the cops. Bottom line, the plaintiff's poisoned mind has to be set straight by the judge because he owes him nothing. He's accused of freaking out over frogs. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $5,000 for harassment.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. All right, neither of you want your last names mentioned. Robert, you're suing James for $800, the amount that you say he had agreed to pay for 20 poisoned dart frogs and 5 tanks, terrariums, and fruit flies. Good Lord. You have a counterclaim against him for $5,000 for harassing you to pay the money, which you say you weren't supposed to ever have to pay because it was a gift?
Not given.
Okay, let's hear from you first. What's going on?
All right. Well, he was one of my best customers, actually, for my business.
And what was your business?
Terrariums, plants, dart frogs, and supplies. And do you
have pictures of a dart frog?
I do. I have plenty of pictures with me.
I think I know which ones you're talking about.
Yeah, very small.
Slimy, tiny, delicate little frogs.
Bright
I think they're
colored, very small.
Yeah, those are the ones. I really feel they're looking at me when I see them. I think they have these in Central Park, don't they? Zoo?
Only South America.
No, I meant in the zoo.
Oh.
Okay. How big are they?
They're very small. A lot of them are like the size of your nail, fingernail.
Really?
Yeah.
That tiny?
At the very biggest, the size of a golf ball.
Full grown?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. So he was one of your best customers. How many of those had he purchased from you in the past?
A lot.
Like what, 10, 100?
Yeah,
what?
maybe 10,
Okay.
15. They're pretty expensive.
So you contact him, why? Because you're moving, or?
I was thinking I might move, but really the thing was that I got a full-time job, and the frogs take a lot of time to care for, so I decided that I was going to part with my collection. And like I said, he was one of my best customers. I had contacted a lot of people about selling the collection, and I sold a good majority of it, I'd say 90%, and I had, the last 10% remaining. I talked to him about...
The last 10% were how many frogs?
I probably had...
It says here 20. Is that accurate?
There was more than 20 at the time. So, yeah, but there was maybe 40 left.
How much do you sell a frog for?
They could be $50, $60 to $100.
How much had he purchased, for how much had he paid for frogs before?
In the past, I have receipts from him for $300, $100, and $225.
And those receipts are for how many frogs? Do you know or no?
Roughly 4, 6, around that area.
At different times?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And, all right, so according to you, the two of you agree that he's going to pay you $800?
Right.
And according to you, that never happened? Tell me what your version is.
I met Rob. I did some business with Rob, and then he kept calling me, telling me he's moving, asked me to buy the rest of his collection, and I was like, I don't have money. A couple of weeks go by, and then he was like, I'm moving. He said he stopped feeding him, stopped caring for him. He was kind of done with it, whatever.
He said, I have stopped feeding the frogs and caring for them.
Yes.
Okay.
And then he called me to come take, because I bought from him in the past, to pretty much come pick him up and care the rest of the way for him. Okay.
And you never agreed to pay him?
I mean, I was there with him, and I never left and not paid him. I usually always pay him.
Yeah, but this is special. So did you say to him that you would pay him?
Not that I remember.
Not that you remember.
I don't recall.
You would remember such a thing.
How
could you not recall whether you said to him at some point that you would pay him?
I wouldn't. That seems like a lot of money, and I wouldn't pay that personally. So
It doesn't sound like you?
I would say no.
Okay. Did you or did you not tell him that you would pay him for these frogs?
No.
Never. You never said that.
I don't remember. We text back and forth. I don't remember ever. I was at his house. We talked.
Are you positive what's in the text?
I don't have the text anymore, so I don't even.
So you don't know. You don't know what you can say and get away with? Do you have any texts that specifically discuss the payment of these frogs?
Yeah, right here.
Can hand it over.
Sure. This whole page pretty much discusses that one.
Do you have it in your phone?
Yes.
I'd prefer it in the phone.
Sure.
You have a counterclaim against him for $5,000 for harassment. Explain that.
He kept harassing me. I don't remember claiming we pay. I was in person with him. We talked. Don't remember ever claiming to pay him. He had his uncle. I work with his uncle. His uncle would call me. His uncle would come over to me and harass me, saying you have to pay him. You have to talk to him.
Do you know his uncle?
Yes, I work with his uncle.
So when you say come over to me and harass me, do you mean that the uncle who you work with would come up to you and say, hey, when are you going to pay him?
Yes.
That's what you mean?
Yes.
All right. What do you mean by, I mean, is it more than people trying to collect on a debt? I mean, what's the harassment? What constitutes harassment?
And they left me threatening voicemails saying if I don't call.
Let me hear them. Do you have those?
Yes.
Yeah, let me hear.
Yo, what's poppin', man? I heard you owe my son $800, and if that don't come with him, I swear to God, I'll show up at your work with mad heads. I swear to God, I promise you'll lose your job too. So make sure he get that bread by, you know what, I'm gonna say by Thursday. So I'm gonna call you back in a little bit. Otherwise, I'm gonna show up at your work, and you do not want that.
I have another one. I want to play that too.
Who is that?
He claims it's his friend Lucas.
Who claims that?
That's what I heard from a police officer.
That it's his friend Lucas. Okay,
Yes.
go ahead. Let me see the next one. Let me hear the next one.
Yo, man, I don't know who the f you think I am, but when I call, you better answer the phone. As I said, you got till Thursday to pay my son back. Otherwise, I don't want to come by your job. So if I was you, I'd hit him up because, you know, I know your parents too, Gregory. You know, I really don't want to start problems.
Do you have a friend named Lucas who plays those calls?
I have.
Yeah, you know whether you have a friend named Lucas. You don't have to search the sky and think back.
I have an acquaintance, Logan. Who,
Logan?
Yeah, and he left some call. He went rogue.
Is that Logan's voice?
Yeah.
Yeah? Jeez Louise.
Yeah, so he went rogue one day when he heard the story, and he made calls.
He didn't. How did he go rogue and know that guy's number?
He did some research on his own because he found like his.
Oh, really? Really? Yeah. Okay. So now maybe while you're pondering that, why don't you tell me what this means? Let's see. Okay, tank for 800. Get Rio Tariba with tanks, Citronelas, Cristobal, new, clean, empty, yada, blah, blah, blah. And you respond, 800 for everything? And he responds, yeah, those proven Rio Tarib with tank are worth at least $250. This is 250, you can get $150. How heavy is the tank? Probably pretty heavy. Blah, blah, blah. I love you, but I can't get to you till the weekend. Let's keep back and forth, back and forth. Your call, but I wouldn't rush you on the money. Maybe like 100 a month or something. And your response, 100 a month. I can do that. With a little emoji going like this. You know I hate you, right? LOL. Ha. I just need the other 225 first. Please, I just want to get that done if possible today. If you could pick everything up ASAP then. Tight this weekend. Just paid my car and phone. Still have to pay my dad. I can't even look at my bank account right now. I might be able to send you $100. He then responds, here's all the negotiation you apparently can't recall. If you send me 125 today, you can pick everything up. No Wi-Fi now, so I can't even look in my bank to see what I got. Goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Oh, you got all kinds of. How big are they? Is there a pair? Are they strong enough that they'd kill each other? I won't get that 125 for you until next week. I came up short this week, so up to you. He answers, it's really cheap for all that, but I really need it gone. I know it is. LOL, you say. How is it you forget all this? What's wrong? I think you need to see a neurologist. How old are you? 20, to be forgetting all this. 21. You just didn't think he'd have the text, right?
No, I don't.
You didn't think you'd get caught at being the liar that you are right now, right? You didn't think that would happen?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Who's afraid of frogs? Who's afraid of frogs? You afraid of frogs?
I don't like frogs.
Why don't you? I'm curious about that. I used to always play with frogs.
I just don't like them. I come from the country, but I don't like frogs.
Why? What's wrong with them?
They weird. They slimy. I don't like them.
What?
Frogs are really bad.
Why?
They murder people.
What?
Frogs have murdered several people in the past few months.
What?
Okay, yeah. You're saying really like you believe this?
No, it's like frogs.
You afraid of them?
No, they make too much noise.
Okay, now, do you eat them?
Of course, Louisiana, New Orleans, Big Easy.
Yeah, okay. I can't go there. Going inside the courtroom.
Wow, you don't sound like you're don't know what you're doing and you're just helping a friend out. Should I read on, or have I refreshed your recollection?
I remember now.
Oh, you do remember now. So you do remember now that you're supposed to pay for all the frogs and terrariums and supplies that you got from him. Now you remember, right? And how much have you paid, my dear?
0.
And so your idea is to come into court and to say, I never agreed to perjure yourself under oath and say I never agreed to pay him, and then hope you win. And what, put out that bad juju in the world so it comes back to get you later?
Not even, I mean, I got all of that from him.
You did not forget that you agreed to pay $800 for frogs and terrariums. You did not forget.
Maybe I just thought I didn't have to because of the condition they were in. I had to pretty much rehouse them all.
Then a non-perjurer says, I agreed to pay, but Judge, I had to spend X to get it to where I could. That's what a non-perjurer says. A liar comes in, takes an oath, looks me right in the eye, and says, I was taking him off his hands because he was starving them and had nowhere to put them. So I'm a good Samaritan who took it off his hands, but there was never any conversation about payment. That's what a liar says. And that is what you are, James. You see? And your counterclaim for $5,000 for harassment, I don't think you'd have received a single call if you weren't such an unmitigated jerk who agrees to pay $800 and then pays 0. So on your counterclaim against Robert, 0. And on his claim against you, you will pay him the $800 plus his court costs, plus prejudgment statutory interest since the time that you got the frogs. That's my verdict.
So the plaintiff will get the $800 back. James, the defendant, is coming out of the courtroom. I got to ask you, what's going through your mind when the judge is just laying you out like that?
I mean, it's a part of her job.
You're a liar. You're this, you're that. I mean, she lets you have it. Double-barreled. You know that.
Yeah.
All right. You learn anything from this? You don't walk into a courtroom and lie to the judge. You know, you just don't do that.
Yep.
It's not good.
Not at all.
Okay. You got the frogs?
Yeah.
Are they thriving? Are they living? You're feeding them?
Sure.
And what do you do with them?
Breed them.
And sell them? What do you do with them? I mean, you sell them to other people? And you make money?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, good luck. Thank you very much. Okay? I think James didn't want to talk. Let me ask you, what do you do with these frogs? I mean, they're cute little creatures.
Well, I ran a pretty successful business with them. I sold a lot of them, bred a lot of them. They're beautiful creatures.
Is that what they're just for an aquarium animal? Is that basically it?
Yeah, terrarium. So, yeah.
Okay, well, good. Very good. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay, good enough. Hope you're happy. That's it. Harvey?
Okay, got to tell you, the plaintiff has a right to persist to get payment. That is not harassment. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.